welcome to Business Leaders Coach Podcast, where we educate, equip, enable, and empower you to become the best leader that you can be. My name is Eric Schmidt, founder of Business Leaders Coach, and I want to start this podcast episode with a question for you, which is that do you think that every leader needs a coach? Well, in today's podcast, I am going to answer that, and I am biased because my answer is yes. But I want to give you 4 reasons why every leader needs a coach. Now, we're also going to hear from 2 amazing leaders, and we're going to find out what they say to that question. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening to this on podcast, please subscribe and share as well. The reason why this is such an important topic is because when it comes to human beings doing extraordinary things, we find out that they rarely did it without the help or perspective of someone else. You know, top athletes have coaches that help them to guide their mindset, shape their thinking. Executives have now seen the benefits of having a coach. So why not every leader? So first of all, let's go to these amazing business leaders, Eric Schmidt, who was the CEO of Google, and Bill Gates, who obviously everybody knows. Let's hear what they have to say about coaching.
Years I've received so many different kinds of advice, I don't know where to start. One that comes to mind is to have a coach. Our board member in 2002, John Doerr, said, "You need a coach." And I said, "Well, I don't need a coach. I'm an established CEO. Why would I need a coach? Is something wrong?" He said, No, you need a coach. Everybody needs a coach." So Bill Campbell became my coach and has served Google very well. Every famous athlete, every famous performer has somebody who's a coach, somebody who can watch what they're doing and say, is that what you really meant? Did you really do that? They can give them perspective. The one thing people are never good at is seeing themselves as others see them. A coach really, really helps.
Everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gymnast, or a bridge player. My bridge coach, Sharon Osberg, says there are more pictures of the back of her head than anyone else's in the world. Sorry, Sharon. Here you go. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve.
Well, as you can hear and as you can see, Bill mentions that we all need feedback, we need perspective, we need accountability. And one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that we are in a rapidly changing world. The world is changing so rapidly that coaching is becoming a lot more of a need, not just a want, not just even just a desire. It's almost becoming an essential ingredient to anybody's career growth. Now, I had a hunch several years ago that coaching was going to be a big thing. In 2005, after I did a coaching course, at the end of that year, I set up my own business. I left the Fortune 500 company that I was in, and I set up my coaching and training business in going into 2007 and working with small, medium-sized businesses in sales, leadership, marketing. And at that time, coaching was a harder sell. Yes, top executives were investing in coaching, but medium-sized small businesses, it was a bit of a harder sell to get people to understand the benefits of it. A lot of people were more focusing on life coaching. So whenever you mentioned coaching, it was like, oh, that touchy-feely thing. However, one of the things, just looking back, that I've come to realize about myself is that I do have the ability to spot opportunities. And unfortunately, not many people can have this opportunity. Not many people have this opportunity to see things that are going to happen into the future. But I do want to let you know that already coaching is a big thing. But look, in the next 10 years, it's even going to be bigger. I mean, and there's a reason for this. So let me explain. You see, coaching is going to be one of the key advantages a leader will have over their competitor. Because the reason will be that he or she will be facing reality at a faster pace. The coach will be able to bring them to an awareness much quicker, give great feedback to allow them to change, to make that necessary change, and it will help them be more in touch with what's going on. Now, especially if you are the CEO or the managing director wishing to scale your business, you're going to find out that you experiencing coaching at this early stage, while coaching is still what we might still is still in its early stages, it will help you have perspective of the value of it. So to give you some insight into the future where coaching is going, you're going to find that more coaches in the next number of years will become more niched. Cognizant, which is a website that produced a document, and I'll put the link in the show notes, so you can go to businessleaderscoach.com and I'll put a link there. They've produced a document on 21 HR jobs of the future. Now, 3 of these roles are on coaching. One of them, for instance, is called a second act coach. Now, this is going to be, or actually it does exist already, it's the person that will coach people as they make a sideways step into a different career path. And so this currently exists. So it already exists, but that's one of the predictions that this is perhaps even going to become more prominent. Now, within the next 10 years, we will also have what they've called an employee enablement coach. Now, this person will serve as an advisor and an advocate in identifying the workplace and life space needs or desires and concerns that contribute to engage and that helps employees that are productive to stay with the company. And the reason is because competition is going to be fierce. People are going to move to the next company, and engagement has always been a challenge. So providing this type of coach will facilitate people's thinking, help them to move them in the right direction, help these people stay with the company. And that's what's being predicted. They're called the enablement coach, employee enablement coach, which it's been predicted within the next 10 years, that's going to become a big thing that organizations are going to invest in. The last one is the one that I find really interesting. It will be predicted that we would have what's called a distraction prevention coach. Now, this person will be responsible for helping the workforce minimize distractions and rediscover their healthiest, most productive selves. It's almost like we need this already. Because, as you can see already, we're so distracted. We are the most distracted generation that have walked the face of the planet. And so having these type of coaches, what they will do is that they will help you stay focused on the tasks that you have. I don't know exactly how that would work in terms of some kind of way of reporting or something, but they'll keep you on track. And it simply just shows that there's a lot of thought going into how we deal with our complex VUCA world. So as I said, this is coming from the document that Cognizant have put together, 21 HR jobs of the future. I'll put a link in the show notes. Have a read. There are other roles as well that you might find interesting. And I think that this is the kind of way that helps us to anticipate some of the challenges that we are already facing and how we can provide solutions to them. So here is what you need to know, though. You see, a company will only invest in these type of coaches when they see the value in them. And the leader or the leaders of this organization, they would have had to experience the benefits of having a coach. And within the next 10 years, the reason why these job roles would exist is because the leaders, the CEOs, the top executives in these businesses, they have experienced the benefits of coaching, and then they would see it's wise to invest in them. Now, what does that mean? It means that these organizations will have the competitive edge. And those that start now by personally investing in coaching themselves will have that understanding of why it's important to invest in this on a larger scale. So in this podcast, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why every leader needs a coach. You can take some notes, and I hope this will be of value to you. So number 1, you need a coach as your confidant. That's the first thing. Things are so chaotic. If you were to be managing a small team, there are moments when you know that you can't really speak to the team members about what you're thinking about, because it could be that it's your right-hand man that you now need to fire or is not doing what they need to do. And you need to think this through. Having this confidant, having this person that can hear what you're saying, that can bounce off ideas with you, that there's no threat to you sharing your thoughts. This is so important. See, I've coached many senior leaders that have tried as much as possible to create an open, honest dynamic within their team. And I think that is important to create this psychologically safe environment. But there's always that problem that when you are the one paying that person's salary, there's an element where if they share certain things with you, they know that they are at risk. And so having a confidant in that respect does help. So somebody who's not entangled with the situation that you're in, someone that can hear your frustrations, someone that is not emotionally engaged with the situations and the decisions that you need to make. So acting as a confidant, having a coach that you can have to have those kind of conversations with is a vital part of what a coach provides. Number 2, you need a coach to help you as you build character. And you've heard this in other podcasts that I've done, that character is so important. Although not many coaches might focus on this. However, a great coach will make sure that you are always thinking about living out your core values. And this is what helps you build character. Using Jim Lowe's situation as an example, he used to be the coach of many top tennis players. And what he did, which was different to what other coaches would do, was that he would get them to focus on character qualities. And if you've heard previous episodes of my podcast where I talk about character and competence, you will find that even within character, there are 2 distinctions. There's personal performance character, and there's what's called moral character qualities. And the 2 are so important because you can be focused on one, which is your own integrity, your own ability to get things done, but you might not actually have the character qualities that show empathy, compassion, selflessness. And so if you focus so much on one, you neglect the other, you find out that it will cause serious challenges. And what having a coach can do can help you, number 1, to keep thinking about that, but more important, to even have conversations around how are you measuring yourself in this situation. Because one of the things that Jim Lowe strategically did with many of his tennis players was to actually get them to set a character goal before they played a tournament. And it could be something like patience, or it could be something really different from just winning. And then after the match, he would then get them to think about how did they demonstrate that character during the tournament, which actually shows that even if they lost the match, they could still win because they demonstrated the character. And I think that that's quite an amazing way of how we grow, because actually we really should be thinking about leading with character more than anything else. And so having a coach that really helps you to think about this is so important, and it actually is one of the best things that anybody can do, because leaders should always be leading from their character. Because why is that? It's because character is more sustainable long term. And so that's another area where having a good coach that can help you to focus on character development and asking you these challenging questions, getting you to think about them in your day-to-day activities, will go a long way. Number 3, the reason why every leader needs a coach is that a coach will help you grow in your competence. Again, there was another podcast where I went into a bit more detail on this, but increasing your competence in the various areas of leadership is essential. Leaders should always be learning, and your coach can expose you to new concepts, new frameworks. In some situations, you don't have time to read the book. If you have a great coach, they can actually point you to mini courses, or they can actually do role plays with you. One of the challenges sometimes as a senior leader is just having difficult conversations. At times you might need to have somebody to role play and actually practice the skill around having a conversation. That's something that you can do with a coach. So for instance, if it is giving constructive feedback to a direct report and you're thinking, well, I need to get more skillful at the words I use, that's something that you can do with a coach. Giving bad news, knowing how you pace yourself in doing it. All these things, you can bounce them off with a coach. Getting your competency up to speed is so important. Many people start their businesses as a startup. Maybe they're an engineer, maybe they're an architect, maybe they're a technical person, and they don't realize that it's the leadership skills that's going to make you the engaging person that you need to be. And so developing in your public speaking, in your ability to be able to articulate what you want, in your ability to be able to give positive reinforcement, all these kind of skills are things that you can work with a coach. Yes, you can go for training, but you and I know that when you go for training, yes, you practice the habit for maybe a week or two, and maybe your direct reports say, oh, you've gone for training, huh? And then by the month end, it's all gone. Having an ongoing conversation with a coach around specific competencies that you have chosen is what will help you turn them into habits. And that would always be the end goal of any kind of competency. Number 4, the fourth reason is all these 3 things would then fill you with confidence. You have a confidant, somebody to speak to be open with, to bounce things off. You have someone that's helping you to grow in character, while at the same time you are growing in your competence. What will happen is this is what would help you feel more confident as a leader. And that's the outcome of good coaching. So there you have it. 4 reasons why every leader needs a coach. So the question I guess for you is, which out of the 4 areas stood out for you? Which area do you think that would be a good area for you to get some support in? Is it in the having somebody as a confidant, somebody just to talk things through? Is it in the area of your character development as a person of integrity, or in the areas of empathy, compassion, selflessness, that you want to be able to keep on growing in that area? Or is it in other areas of competencies where you want to not only have the training, but you want to set up a regular conversation that can help you really turn the behaviors that perhaps you've learned into habits? So I hope this has helped. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, please don't forget to subscribe. But also, maybe you can share in the comments on the area that you think you need to work on. And if you do want to have a conversation about this, why not schedule a chat? You can go to businessleaderscoach.com, click on the schedule a call button, and let's have a conversation around how maybe this can work for you. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching this on podcast, also share, subscribe. And again, if you are listening to this and you do want to watch this, you can go to businessleaderscoach.com, go to podcast, and click on 4 reasons why every leader needs a coach. I look forward to hearing from you. For now, this is Toyo Shimbi for Business Leaders Coach, signing off. Speak to you soon. Take care.